Founded in 1946 as part of the basketball.
How the birth of every NBA team explained by who's the creator? ISO Jack, 8,000 subscribers with this much production value.
Boston Celtics. The Celtics were founded in 1946 as part of the basketball.
What it was, I was doing a quiz yesterday with one of my friends, and it was like talking about cities that have had teams in each league and don't exist anymore. And like there was obviously like the obvious ones that I know to my head were like Syracuse, Kansas City, Buffalo. Like those are NBA teams that, you know, died. But then there's even more that like just dissipated. Like there's literally NBA teams that existed and dissipated into thin air and like went and joined another league and are just gone.
Association of America, one of the NBA's precursor leagues. They didn't just join basketball history, they helped create it. Their first owner was Walter A. Brown, who basically ran all of Boston sports. He also ran the Boston Garden, which was horrifically outdated even back then. When the BAA merged with the National Basketball League, or NBL, in 1949, the Celtics officially became one of the NBA's founding teams. In 1951, they hired Red Auerbach, a coach who built the first true NBA dynasty by drafting Bill Russell in 1956. This kicked off a decade plus of dominance. The Celtics won 11 championships in 13 seasons and basically turned the NBA into their own personal playground. They've never rebranded, they've always been the Celtics, but their ownership has changed hands multiple times. In the 70s, John Y. Brown, the guy who owned KFC, actually bought the team. He made
I like little facts like that. I did not know that he was I mean, obviously I didn't know that. Damn, I don't know who owned the Knicks before Dolan and them either, if I'm being honest.
Moves and immediately sold it for a profit. Today, they're one of the most successful franchises in sports history with 18 NBA titles and one of the most obnoxiously passionate fan bases in existence. Chicago.
I don't think the Celtics are that. I think we OD on how annoying. I don't know. It's good if the fan bases are passionate.
Go Bulls. The Bulls were born in 1966, making them one of the NBA's
the Wizards were the Chicago Zephyrs, and then they got moved to the youngest iconic franchises. But they didn't become the Bulls until a certain guy from North Carolina showed up. Founded by Dick Klein, who was the only owner in franchise history that actually played basketball. Klein wanted the team to have a name that represented strength and toughness, so he went with Bulls because of Chicago's. I might say that the Bulls still have the most fire like branding and stuff. Honestly, like when I was playing 2K14 recently or whatever, and I go back on there, I gotta pick the Bulls sometimes. I wouldn't pick the Bulls because I'm like, if I don't pick the Knicks, who would I pick? Although if I have too much bias towards the Knicks, I don't know but the Bulls just like iconic, like everything about the branding. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I like red. I like the color. I like the, you know what I'm saying, the red bull. I don't really like Celtics green. Like, yeah, it's iconic, but it's not, I'm good off that.
History in the meatpacking industry. For the first 20
but like old
years,
Raptors, but like we're saying, like for the Bulls to know, like, nah, this is fire. We're just gonna keep this for the most part.
They were just okay. Then in 1984, they drafted Michael Jordan with the 3rd pick because the Blazers thought Clyde Drexler and MJ were the same player. Whoops. By the 90s, Jordan, Scottie Pippen
of a fan base.
I mean, you saying that, but like the Celtics have like incidents like how the Jazz have, like a lot of them. Oh, well, I did watch Bill Russell's Netflix documentary, but that was a long time ago. They was doing some crazy they was going to Bill Russell's house. They were messing up Bill Russell's crib, breaking the windows. That was crazy.
Jackson took over.
How do you even find that out without the internet? Like word of mouth, put like a damn garage sale, but it's just Bill Russell fire sale, burned down his house. I don't think they did that, but
6 rings in 8 years and turning the Bulls into the NBA's biggest global brand. Then in 1999, owner Jerry Reinsdorf and GM Jerry Krause decided to burn it all down. Derrick Rose started their recovery, but his injuries cut all that short. But thanks to MJ, they'll always be one of the most popular franchises in the NBA. Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs have been in the NBA since 1970, but let's be real, Cleveland basketball did not matter until LeBron showed up. Their first...
Whoa. Chill on Mark Price. Chill on Big Brad. Chill on Larry Nance Sr. Chill out. Matter of fact, chill on Big Z. Hold on. Cavs Nation, I got you. They probably don't care.
Owner was Nick Maletti. They were horrendous at first, winning just 15 games in their debut season and going 5 straight years without a winning record. In the late 80s,
I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was about to say nothing about... I thought he literally was gonna skip to the LeBron era. So that low-key just made me a little bit mad for... But okay, he's actually... I was like, no way he just covered every team. He's like, actually the Cavs go weak until Bron. But I mean, if you look down here, it does have the shortest timestamp.
Built a pretty good team, but Michael Jordan ended them repeatedly in the playoffs. Then in 2003, they won the draft lottery and picked LeBron James. Immediately, the Cavs went from irrelevant to must-watch. LeBron would end up...
mention Brad in them? I low-key zoned out.
Bringing them their only championship in 2016 during his second stint with the team. Today, they're finally building something.
Not mentioning Kyrie is kind of insane. If you're gonna mention that, or like even love, I don't know.
Charlotte Hornets, a team that was born, killed, resurrected, renamed, and rebranded multiple times. Founded in 1988 as an expansion team under the ownership of George.
Was that the actual logo?
George Shin, a businessman who quickly became hated by the entire city. Their original name almost became the Spirit or the Knights, but Hornets won out. In the 90s, they became one of the most exciting teams in the NBA, with Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, and Muggsy Bogues. But then Shin relocated the team to New Orleans in 2002, leaving Charlotte without a team for only 2 years before the NBA gave them a new one in 2004, the Charlotte Bobcats. The Bobcats were a complete disaster. In 2014, when the New Orleans Hornets rebranded as the Pelicans, Charlotte took their old name back and officially became the Hornets again. They're still kind of a disaster, but at least they're pretty entertaining. Atlanta Hawks.
Not really, but I guess kinda. I think about Charlotte. Screw 'em.
This team has relocated so many times, their fan base...
Wait, Atlanta?
Hawks. This team has relocated...
Atlanta was St. Louis. Were they were... Oh yeah, wait, were they the... Were they the Buffalo Braves? Or was that the Clippers? Because that looks like Buffalo. Unless that... Is that Syracuse? I don't know. Rochester? I think Rochester's up here.
Located so many times.
That's probably St. Louis. I don't know what that is.
Their fan base probably needs a passport. Founded in 1946 as the Buffalo
Get back on geokissing.
Bisons in the National Basketball League. But after just 13 games, they moved to Moline, Illinois, and became the Tri-Cities Blackhawks.
Oh, I did know that. That's nasty.
Joined the NBA in 1949, and their head coach for their first NBA season was none other than Celtics legend Red Auerbach, who ended up leaving the team and joining the Celtics after that season.
That's actually kind of funny. I did not know that.
Hawks moved again in 1951, becoming the Milwaukee Hawks. Then they moved again in 1955 to St. Louis, where they finally found success. They won their only championship in 1958, led by Bob Pettit, and they became one of the best teams of the 50s and 60s. It's worth noting they actually drafted Bill Russell, but they traded
them. I think I saw someone post, it was like a Twitter post, like only players to win a ring with the franchise. Out of all these players, only LeBron won a ring with the franchise that drafted him. It was like LeBron, Bill Russell, Kobe, a bunch of people. Yeah, I don't know. A bunch of other, people that got traded or whatever.
Traded him immediately to the Celtics. At least they ended up getting a couple of
Kareem won with the Bucks.
In the deal. In 1968, the team was
sold
and moved again. This time to Atlanta, because apparently they just couldn't stop moving. Since then, no titles, but they've been a constant playoff team. Throughout the 80s,
yeah, actually, I'll give him that for the most part.
In 90s, they were led by Dominique Wilkins and were honestly
not the 90s really.
Pretty elite, but they never could get past the Pistons or Celtics. The Hawks are basically the NBA's ultimate "we tried" franchise.
That's pretty funny.
Los Angeles Clippers, a team that has moved twice, been cursed for decades, and only recently stopped being a joke. Founded in 1970
right?
as the Buffalo Braves, one of 3 expansion teams that year alongside the Cavs and Blazers. Their first owner, Paul Snyder, was a rich dude from Buffalo who didn't really know how to run a basketball team. The Braves were actually decent in the mid-70s with Bob McAdoo, but Snyder got tired of losing money and sold the team to John Y.
Actually, can I cut him off real quick? It's funny because you said rich dude didn't know how to run a basketball team. It reminded me of something. So I just saw James Dolan on that Brunson podcast talking about how, which this is very well known, that Dolan used to try and be super involved in basketball decisions, blah, 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 whatever. There actually was a story on there about how they almost traded for Vince Carter, but the medical team said Vince Carter's Achilles was falling off the bone, so they didn't do it. And then he never tore his Achilles. Anyways, but that low-key isn't really on him because they said don't trade for him. Anyways, but he did hire them. Whatever. My point was he used to have much more involvement, and then they got Leon Rose, or even with the previous regimes, they would always, even with Phil Jackson weak stuff, he would, and then eventually he was like, "Yo, we're so weak, I'm firing Phil Jackson." And I wonder, damn, they should have asked him about that on the pod. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, maybe he's better off. No bad mojo, whatever the hell, to the team. My point was that eventually he realized he had to rescind his control, or just not take control, not care about actions with the team, let the GM do it, blah, blah. And I wonder how long it's going to take for the dude Matt Ishbia to figure out the same thing. I know he's a younger owner, blah, 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 whatever. They put out a report today about how Matt Ishbia is not going into a rebuild, which doesn't surprise me, but it's like you really don't have any other options. And eventually someone's going to request out. But they were like, oh, he's not rebuilding the team. Like, they're not giving up just yet because I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of, in case you don't know, I'm talking about the Suns. I don't know if I said that, but.
Brown immediately started a bizarre franchise swap where he ended up trading the Braves to another owner in exchange for the Celtics. The new owner moved the team to San Diego in 1978 and renamed them the San Diego Clippers. Tired of losing, actually decent in the mid-70s with Bob McAdoo, but Snyder got tired of losing money and sold the team to John Y. Brown. Brown immediately started a bizarre franchise swap where he ended up trading the Braves to another owner in exchange for the Celtics. The new owner moved.
He fleeced. Yo, he fleeced. He fleeced. That brother bought a team and said, let's trade the team. He fleeced. Yo, I'd be, what? But also, it's not like, we're trading the Celtics. Like, it's not like the Celtics were in a dark period. They won 2 years before that with Dave Cowens. They still were winning. They never stopped winning around the time. And then they continued to win for the next decade. That's one of the, considering that, you probably make profits based off of win. Why would you do that? I mean, obviously he had some vision of probably moving to San Diego.
The team to San Diego in 1978
making more money there,
but renamed them the San Diego Clippers. In 1981, they were sold to Donald Sterling. Sterling was arguably the worst owner in NBA history. He quickly gained a reputation for not paying hotels and bus drivers for the team. On multiple occasions, he attempted to move the team to Los Angeles, but the league denied him.
That is pretty funny because little stuff like that, not paying hotels, it probably wasn't mandated. It probably took crackheads like this for it to become mandated. I would assume it's mandated now, you gotta pay for the team, whatever. But I was even listening, and this is not that crazy, but I was listening to Jeff Teague's podcast, new podcast he got out with Zebo, and he's talking about how when he first got to Atlanta was so weak that they had him get in his main like coach, his player development coach when he wasn't playing in his rookie season was I forgot who it was, but it was a center that was playing in the 2000s and that had retired. But he's like, why the hell am I getting trained by a center when I'm a point guard? And like just whatever. And it was just like an assistant coach. But nowadays they be having a whole like development type of thing going on, a little bit more drawn out. But yeah,
he just did it anyways. The league threatened to dissolve the franchise if he didn't
I'm a Bills fan now since the Patriots collapsed. You left the Patriots?
Them to San Diego, but Sterling won the case in court. Thanks to him, for over 30 years, the Clippers were the worst run team in the NBA. In 2011, they finally got Chris Paul, turning them into a contender for the first time in history. In 2014, Sterling was forced to sell the team after a racism scandal, and Steve Ballmer bought them for $2 billion. Since then, they've been legitimate contenders, but still haven't made an NBA Finals. Golden State
I think they had a very good chance in 2021 if they didn't get hurt, especially considering that they still made it there even without Kawhi in that second round. They had a very good chance. Paul George was really good that year, and so was Reggie Jackson. And they had Boogie. They could have got Boogie another chance.
A team that moved across the country and then built one of the greatest dynasties ever. Founded in 1946 as the Philadelphia Warriors as part of the BAA. They were owned by Peter Tyrrell. The Warriors were one of the best teams in early NBA history, winning the first ever BAA championship in 1947. In 1959, they drafted Wilt Chamberlain, who immediately turned them into must-watch TV. Then in 1962, the team relocated to San Francisco after new owner Franklin Mioli decided that the Bay Area had more money and more fans. They became the San Francisco Warriors, but struggled with attendance. So in 1971, they rebranded again to Golden State Warriors to represent all of California. They won their first title in the Bay in 1975
I
with
promise
Rick
to God,
Barry. But then
I promise to God, I never knew what Golden State meant. I just assumed it meant something regional, not state. That's what that means. I mean, it is Golden State, but that doesn't make sense. I guess. I literally would have never in my life heard that they were called the Golden State. I feel like you hear more of like city mantras, like brotherly love for, what is that, Philly? They did, yeah, they had a gold rush, yeah. Not sure I like how the 49ers, because of the, the gold rush, but I thought, but also too, 49ers that's San Francisco, so I thought it was more like a regional thing, not like the whole state was called that. Maybe like just like wherever, but wow. Because I genuinely have wondered that ever since they moved from, what was it, Oakland to San Francisco. I was like, so is that like a Oakland thing? I guess not. Shoot, this region is supposed to be the Bay Area. That's what but he just said Golden State means the whole state. I mean, I understand now. I understand it now, I guess.
Spent 40 years mostly irrelevant. In 2009,
every state is a something state. So what's New York?
Drafted Stephen Curry, and they completely changed basketball.
The Big Apple? No, it's a city. What about Wyoming? What's Wyoming? Oh yeah, Empire State. Yeah. What about Wyoming?
Winning 4 championships in 8 years. Today, they're one of the most valuable franchises in all of sports. Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I'm letting them slide with glossing over stuff at this point. But I mean, granted, this video would be 3 hours long if he did.
Stolen from their original cities, there's not a single heist that matches what happened with this franchise. Founded in 1966 as the Seattle SuperSonics, named after Seattle's aerospace industry. Their first owner, Sam Schulman, was one of the NBA's first big personality owners, constantly in fights with the league office. They were terrible.
How is he a big personality if you don't got a picture of him?
at first, but slowly built up into a legit team by the late 70s. And in 1979, they won their first and only NBA championship, led by Gus Williams, Dennis Johnson, and Jack Sikma. Then in the 90s, they became elite again with Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. They made the 1996 NBA Finals, but ran into peak Michael Jordan and the Bulls, so that went nowhere. Then in 2001, they were sold to a group of businessmen, including Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. Schultz then sold them to Clay Bennett a few years later.
I like that little, you know what's funny? I think when the Celtics won the championship, Celtics or Nuggets, I made a tweet saying how that that we were in the first stretch in like NBA history of years without what was it? Of years, like 6+ years with a different champion. Could happen again this year and the streak would continue, but it was like 6 or 7+ years without a repeat champion. And that late 70s, I said ever, but then I went and looked back and people correct me. And there was one time ever, and it was that 70s era. Like it was like the Celtics, the Sonics, the Blazers, the Bullets. Like it was that type of thing. And I like when that happens, you know. But I will say, and also too, and then I ended up correcting myself and saying, screw it. We'll say it's since the three-point era, whatever. This is the first time since. But I will say, it does help with remembrance of history when it's like, you know, one team or 2 or 3 teams dominate. I think that's why sometimes maybe they don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they really consider, but yeah, I think it maybe because, like, for example, like the 80s, it's so easy to remember. It's just Bird, Magic, the Pistons a little bit near the end. Like for the most part, that's really it. Sixers. I think it's dead all the teams that won in that 80s era. So like, it's not hard to remember. But then like 70s, like screwed, it's just everybody. And you could say that for recently as well.
An Oklahoma City businessman. In
2000, yeah, that was the last repeat. But not even just repeat, like even just 2 times, like the longest span without a second champion, the champion winning again. So like Raptors didn't win again. Lakers, Bucks, Warriors, Celtics, Nuggets, none of that, or whatever order, they haven't won again. So like it's the longest streak without a repeat, even in that span, not just back to back. But you might have meant that. I'm just clarifying.
2008, the NBA approved a move to OKC, and Seattle fans were rightfully furious. The team relocated and became the Thunder. Just before moving, they drafted Kevin Durant, and right after arriving,
sick, bro. I'd be sick because like the Sonics were good too, and you drafted KD and left. That's crazy. I'd be sick. Imagine like, because I'd assume there was rumblings. Like imagine being in Seattle and being like, damn, we got this phenom score and I'm about to root for him across the country if I really want to still be a fan. Because of that, but shoot, you might become a damn Blazers fan. Brandon Roy, hello. I'd be sick.
In OKC, they drafted Russell Westbrook and James Harden, making them one of the best young teams ever. They made the finals in 2012, but lost to LeBron's Heat and then proceeded to lose all their stars one by one. Today, they've rebuilt again with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a war chest of draft picks, but Sonics fans still want their team back. Portland Trail Blazers, a team that has been consistently snake-bitten by injuries and bad luck. Founded in 1970 as an expansion team, their team name, Trailblazers, was chosen from a fan contest. Their original ownership group included Larry Weinberg, who would be president of the team for over a decade. The Blazers struggled early, but
the white dude no, not white. Was he white? The dude they drafted after Jordan. Whatever.
1977, they won their first and only NBA championship behind the late great Bill
Sam
Walton.
Bowie.
That should have been the start of a dynasty, but Walton immediately got hurt and never fully recovered. Then in 1984, they made one of the worst draft decisions ever, passing on Michael Jordan to take Sam Bowie, a center who immediately got injured and barely played. Despite that, they were actually really good in the early 90s, led by Clyde Drexler, making the finals in 1990 and 1992. After Drexler left, they became the Jail Blazers in the early 2000s because half their roster was involved in off-court scandals. In 2006, they got Brandon Roy, who gave the team hope. Then in 2007, they had another chance to draft a superstar, but picked Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. Oden's knees immediately exploded, and Portland fans have never recovered. Roy ended up retiring early due to injuries as well. Finally, they had a solid run with Damian Lillard, but never built a true contender around him. Now, they're back to rebuilding again. Denver Nuggets. A team that spent
the NBA
decades...
is really a sick place, bro, because if I had Damian Lillard and he finally was healthy and blah, 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 after all that, after all them years, boy, I'd be sick going, don't win anything. Damn. NBA is really, I will say that's one of the perks of being a Knicks fan is like you have a valid reason to believe at some point it'll work, even if it doesn't, even if it never works, even if the luck is deathly. You have a valid, because with Portland, it was like, no one's going to help Dame. Who the hell's going to Portland? These people lives. Who the hell's going to Portland? And well, whatever. And like, I'd be sick if I was a Blazers fan. Because it's like, there's really no, like, all they ever signed was Evan Turner. And I lost Nick Batum. Nick Batum got a bag, though. Lost Nick Batum. Lost LaMarcus. My goodness.
As a high-scoring sideshow before finally striking gold in the modern era. Founded in 1967 as the Denver Rockets in the ABA, their owner, Bill Ringsby, named the team after his trucking company, Ringsby Rockets. When the ABA started merging with the NBA in 1974, the Rockets realized they couldn't keep their name since Houston already had the NBA's Rockets. So they rebranded as the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets were one of 4 ABA teams invited into the NBA in 1976, bringing with them one of the flashiest players of all time, David Thompson. They won their division in both of their first 2 NBA seasons, but found little postseason success.
I'm not gonna lie though, I'm gonna say this straight up. If I was in the 70s, man, they be talking about phone addictions, like, oh, phone's so bad for you. Shoot, I see why these dudes was doing crack, because what else you really do? Like, I could respect it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, all them 70s and 80s NBA players, they started just doing crack because they were bored. It's like, yeah, for respect. They didn't even get really money like that. They were low-key broke until probably Magic.
Strong run in the 80s with Alex English, then again in the 2000s when they landed Carmelo Anthony in the legendary 2003.
Yo, he skipped the whole 90s. He skipped Dikembe.
NBA draft, but they still couldn't win in the playoffs. After Melo forced his way out in 2011, they floated in mediocrity again until they drafted Nikola Jokic with the 41st pick in 2014 during a Taco Bell commercial. On top of his many MVPs, Jokic also brought Denver their only championship in 2023. After 50 plus years of waiting, the Nuggets finally reached the top of the NBA.
I just wish they played a different opponent that year. And not even on something like, oh, it was too easy, just I don't know. It's just the Heat are just very unexciting, and the Nuggets aren't. You know, the Nuggets are branded as like, oh, Jokic is born. Da, da, da. It just wasn't that interesting. And y'all know I love Jokic. I literally just dropped the Jokic video yesterday on my main channel. Like, that's my guy. But like, it was just boring. I guess though it doesn't really matter. Like, that happens a lot in history where like I mean, it's just a string of games. Like, at the end of the day, it's not really that. You know, you hope it's gonna be, but it wasn't really that interesting. It was what, like 5 games? And Hero was out too. He wasn't even that. I mean, he was out like the whole playoffs, so I couldn't say how he'd be if he actually played.
Proving that sometimes patience actually pays off. Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that is...
What did the Celtics beat in the... Oh, they beat the Pacers. Hear me out. Now, this would have been fire. Celtics should have made it in 23. duked it out. Winner takes, I don't know who would have won, but just whatever. Celtics should have made it that year, right? 2024, Mavericks can have it. But then on the East, the Knicks should have stood healthy. I'm talking Randall healthy and made it. We could have had Brunson against his old team. And then we could have beat them and they could have traded Luke anyway. Cinema. Ooh, cinema. That would have been great. Cinema. Hey, guys, and don't hate Randall, because Randall's speaking of Randall, the Wolves are 11-0 in their last 11 games with Julius Randle in real life. Oh, my guy Cooking
spent most of its existence being really
script writer. It would be hype if the Knicks won the ring. You would never hear the end of it, because with the Celtics, it's like, oh, they won another ring, boo-hoo, whatever. They won another ring. Who cares? With the Lakers, they won another ring, boo-hoo, who cares? It's the Lakers. They win a lot. But the Knicks, the team that's hyped up and stings historically, oh, you would never hear the end of it. You would never hear the end of it.
Bad. Minnesota actually had an NBA team in the 50s, the Minneapolis Lakers.
Oh, yeah, right.
But they moved to Los Angeles in 1960 because the owner wanted more money. After almost 30 years without a team, the NBA finally gave Minnesota another shot, granting them an expansion franchise in 1989. Their first owners, Harv Ratner and Marv Wolfenson, allowed the fans to pick the team name, where Timberwolves ended up winning. Their first 7 seasons were completely miserable, but in 1995, they finally got a franchise player, high school phenom Kevin Garnett. After losing in the first round of the playoffs for 7 straight years, they finally made the Western Conference Finals in 2004.
I like a lot of the NBA names. You said they could. I like a lot of the NBA names. What's a bad NBA name, though? I'm trying to think. Pelicans is bad. The Pelicans is bad. I'm not even gonna look at the chat yet. The Pelicans is bad. I admit as a Pelican. 76ers? Nah, but the Constitution was like the Declaration, right? Or something like that. The Declaration was signed in 76. That's not that bad. It's like the 49ers in the NFL. We don't got another team with like numbers in the NBA, right? Am I tweaking? I don't know. I like the Trailblazers. I like the Trailblazers branding too. I like the black and red teams. Those are always cool to me. I guess the Wizards had to change from the Bullets. Wizards might be better though for just, I know, whatever. Bullets got the edge to it. Whatever. Nuggets, nah, hell no. You hate on the Nuggets. Nuggets got the, whatever. They got the gold and stuff, and yeah, whatever. Who cares? Kings is mid. Nah, you can't go wrong with Kings, but they do got like a Kings team in the NHL. I hate repeat names in sports. Hate that. That stinks always when they do that. But like they got there's a MLB Giants team, right? There's an NFL and an MLB Giants team, right? I just found out that there was an MLB Giants team in New York too. I just found out that that's what they got their name from. That's kind of crazy. But anyways, so you telling me Cali took the New York Dodgers or the Brooklyn Dodgers, and they took the New York Giants and put them in the damn Cali? Screw them. The New York Football? They were just called football? Oh, that's worse than the Commanders. Whatever the hell they were, the football team.
Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Then KG left in 2007 and the team went 14 years without a playoff.
But they got Al Jefferson.
Things might be turning around with Anthony Edwards, but trading Cat may have already screwed things up. Utah Jazz. Damn. A team with the most inaccurate name in NBA history.
The Jazz. Wait, did anyone say Jazz? No one said Jazz? The Jazz is terrible. And I was low-key thinking of the Clippers, I'll be honest. I think Clippers is supposed to be like a boat, but no one thinks of that. Clippers is bad. This is bad. The Jazz. But this is the thing, though. So do the Pelicans not have history past 2012? Like, I don't think they have, or do they have the Bobcats history now? Because they took back I don't know. Either way, you know what? You can't give them the Jazz. That's the only problem. Damn, that's the only problem. because the Jazz are like low-key iconic now because of like the Malone Stockton era and then whatever else. But it makes no sense. They got no Jazz.
Founded in 1974
but New Orleans Jazz makes too much sense though. It's not the name, it's the application that makes it bad. The Jazz ain't a bad name. The Jazz is not a bad name. It just doesn't work with Utah. And it's not terrible. Like I said, it low-key, it's fine because it's okay. Like it's not a bad name. But it's just dumb. They should be like the Utah Salt or something. The Utah Lake. Oh. The Utah Lakers. Y'all gonna have to find something new over there. You're gonna be the Los Angeles Pacific Ocean. That's what you're gonna. The Los Angeles Oceans. And the Los Angeles Lakers, the Los Angeles Oceans, or the Los Angeles, what's another one? Damn, what are they known? What's LA known for? Los Angeles kale or something. Los Angeles vegans, something like that. Los Angeles, what y'all got over there? I don't know. What do they got? Sun? No, they already got a sun. They got sun stand. LA Lamar's, LA Homeless, LA Sushi. LA Jazz, LA Stars. There isn't that the WNBA team, or is that someone else? LA Heat, bro. LA Smog. Okay, wow. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. They're gonna be we got the LA Smog. Yeah, we got that.
New Orleans Jazz, which actually made sense because, New Orleans is all about jazz music. Their original owner, Sam Battistone, was an entrepreneur who didn't really know what he was doing. Despite having Pistol Pete Maravich, they never made the playoffs and lost money every year. In 1979, Battistone decided to move the team to Utah, a state with absolutely zero connection to jazz music. Instead of changing the name, they just kept it because they didn't have enough time for a league name approval ahead of the 1979 NBA season. In the 80s and 90s, they became a legit contender with John Stockton and Karl Malone. But Michael Jordan ended them twice in the NBA Finals. Since then, they've been consistently good, but never great. Always
I'm gonna let the video run. I'm gonna go grab my food real quick.
Bucks.
Since I told you earlier,
really lucky, really fast.
Give me 1 second.
And then spent
I just gotta I'm gonna let Jokic watch the video. This is not like some scam reaction.
I literally NBA expansion team alongside the Phoenix Suns. They were owned by Wesley Pavilon and Marvin Fishman, a pair of business guys from Milwaukee who just wanted their own sports team. After one bad season, they won the coin flip for the first pick in the 1969 draft, which landed them Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem instantly made them a contender, and by 1971, just 3 years into existence, they won their first NBA championship. But Milwaukee couldn't keep Kareem, and in 1975, he demanded a trade to a bigger market. They sent him to the Lakers, and the Bucks immediately became irrelevant. For nearly 40 years, they were in this same state, until 2013, when they drafted a skinny, unknown Greek kid named Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis developed into one of the greatest players ever, and in 2021, he led the Bucks to their first title in 50 years. Today, the Bucks are finally a powerhouse again, proving that sometimes all you need is luck and patience. Detroit Pistons. One of the toughest, most grimy franchises in NBA history was born in a tiny Indiana town before becoming Detroit's identity. Founded in 1941 as the Fort Wayne Pistons because their owner, Fred Zollner, ran a piston manufacturing company. They joined the NBA in 1948, but quickly moved to Detroit in 1957. In the early years, they were mostly bad, but in the late 80s, they became legendary. The Bad Boy Pistons were born. With Isaiah Thomas, Joe DeMars, Dennis Rodman, and Bill Laimbeer, they bullied their way to back-to-back titles in 1989 and 1990. After the Bad Boys, they went through a rough patch but rose again in the early 2000s, winning another title in 2004. Since then, nothing but pain. Although Cade Cunningham might be the one to change that. Indiana Pacers. The Pacers were born in the ABA, and for a while, they were the kings of that league. Founded in 1967 as one of the original ABA teams, back when the ABA had red, white, and blue basketballs and was just slightly more serious than a Harlem Globetrotters game. They won 3 ABA championships in 4 years, becoming the most successful team in the league's history. When the ABA merged with the NBA in 1976, the Pacers were one of the 4 teams invited to join. But they entered the league completely broke. The NBA forced them to pay a $3.2 million entry fee, plus a fee to the ABA teams that didn't make it. They struggled for years until Reggie Miller showed up in 1987 and turned them into legit contenders. In the 90s and early 2000s, they had some great teams but kept falling short. Then came the Malice at the Palace.
I was like, damn, are they gonna still be chatting? Hold on, actually, let me put my foot down. I'm gonna take Jokic off the screen. Put my foot down. Hold on. I got some eats. Someone said, oh, don't go to Italy, you're gonna be disappointed. Yeah, it's by the Italian food. Well, I'm gonna never be disappointed by it in New York. Shoot. You're so tough. Yo, that is so. Yo, how have we watched this for 40 minutes? How we watch it? I feel like I have not. Yo, I'm Dante, bro. I have not paused that much. Yo, I'm not. Maybe. Damn. Am I a real thinker? I don't know. Rick Carlisle was good, Rick. But you get your food is so tough. You enjoy. Oh, that's what's up. No, I did think it'd be cool. I don't know why. Buddy was hating on him earlier. Back onto the goat. No, I heard that streamer diss track, and I saw the dude distant for that. The way you flick your hair is okay, bro. Okay. Relax. Was there anything interesting while I was gone for those 3 seconds? Okay, it wasn't much. It was like literally 3 minutes. Pace. Oh, I would have loved to hate on the Pacers though. I just not really, but like it was always funny when the 2 series that the Knicks lost, right? Well, they lost to the Heat. Shout out to the Heat, respect. But they lost to the Pacers and they lost to the Hawks. And it's like, oh, y'all trash. Y'all got nothing. I'm like, y'all don't even got a championship. And then the Hawks, y'all won in during the JFK term. Anyway,
in 2004,
which we ain't winning
the franchise's momentum.
Not respect though. I'm gonna hate for that. Whatever.
Overnight. Since then, they've been in a cycle of good but not great. Never bad enough to tank, never good enough to win it all. New York Knicks.
Oh, you better relax. I'm gonna throw up right. Ball.
One of the NBA's original teams, and somehow also.
Can I say? I thought he was gonna start with like. Straight up which I don't think he went in alphabetical order, so I thought he was gonna do like chronologically, like the first teams that started originally, but it's still been a good video. I just thought he was gonna do it like chronologically, but whatever.
So one of its biggest disasters. Founded in 1946 as part of the EAA, which later merged into the NBA, they were named the Knickerbockers, which refers to old.
Hold on. Relax. Chill out. You're a little too excited to say that. Chill out.
Old Dutch settlers in New York who wore baggy pants. So
I think it was because of the pants.
The Knicks are technically named after pants. Owned by Ned Irish, a businessman who basically invented professional basketball in New York. In the 50s and 60s, they were bad. Like, consistently terrible. But in the 70s, they finally figured it out and won 2 NBA championships in 1970 and 1973. Then, for the next 20 years, they were pretty mid again until Patrick Ewing arrived in 1985. The 90s were their best shot at a championship, but they kept running into Michael Jordan. Then, in 1999, they somehow made the NBA Finals as an 8 seed, but Tim Duncan crushed their dreams. And then, the James Dolan era began.
Whoa, chill out. So my guy, he had a cool little podcast there. This Cardi album better than anything Michael Jackson released. Chill out. We need to chill out collectively. That.
Oh, brother.
Chill out. of fact.
Dolan took over in 1999 and immediately turned the Knicks into a never-ending circus of bad trades, bad contracts, and bad coaches.
To elaborate what I was saying on earlier. So Vince Carter, well, no, I was literally what I said. They damn near, he said yesterday that they damn near traded for Vince Carter in like 2004 when he got traded to the Nets. But the medical team examined him or whatever and said his Achilles was 90% severed. So don't trade for him. And then, I mean, Vince Carter wasn't really, they probably would have still been like a 6 seed if Vince Carter and Jason Kidd didn't win, we weren't winning nothing. So we don't got to worry about nothing.
Well, that is until recently. They remain
he played 15 years, but he played like 5 years on. Wait a second. Wait.
And bad coaches. Well, that is until recently. They remain one of the most valuable franchises in the NBA, mostly because Madison Square Garden is so insanely legendary. Brooklyn Nets. And immediately turned the tracks. Valuable franchise coaches. Well, that is until recently. They remain one of the most valuable franchises in the NBA, mostly
Why did he say nothing about recent? Why'd you stop? You mentioned Cade Cunningham, but you don't mention Jay. Ooh.
Because Madison.
How you gonna say it? I was until, man, this is AI generated. I don't give a damn. Screw it. How?
Square Garden is so insanely legendary.
He's not wrong, though.
Nets. The Nets started out as a completely different team in a completely different
They even mentioned Cat.
They were founded in 1967 as the New Jersey Americans.
This is the wrong. This is what's wrong with America. We talking about. Speaking of that, we talking about. Oh man, it's so bad for the Timberwolves. They traded Cat. Then don't mention him for the Knicks in a positive light. Screw that, please. Just like we don't mention Brad Daughtry.
American Basketball Association, which was a rival league to the NBA. The original owner, Arthur Brown, was so incompetent that his team literally couldn't find a home arena. They tried playing at a rented.
They didn't even mention Melo.
Ice rink, but the conditions were so bad that they had to forfeit a playoff game because the court wasn't playable. After that disaster, they moved to Long Island in 1968 and rebranded as the New York Nets. I guess rhyming with the Jets and Mets was apparently important. The Nets became the best.
Someone tried to tell me on Twitter like a year ago, they're like, you're a Giants. I'm not a Yankee. If I had to choose a baseball team, I'd probably choose the Yankees just because. Well, for this exact reason, I'm about to say, they're like, you're a Giants, Knicks, and I don't watch baseball fan. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, I thought Giants normally went with Nets or whatever. You know, I'm like, what? I'm like, or no, he's like, I thought Knicks went with Jets. I'm like, why? I'm like, why wouldn't the teams that literally rhyme go with each other?
ABA team when they landed Julius Erving, or Dr. J, in 1973. With him, they won 2 ABA championships and made the league somewhat respectable.
But I just thought about it. I wonder if they were still the Long Island Nets when I was growing up, if I would have been a Nets fan. That's actually a good question, though, because they were kind of good, because that was when they traded for Paul Pierce and Joe Johnson. I like Joe Johnson and Darren Williams. I wonder, because they played I think they played, well, the Long Island Nets play at somewhere in Nassau. I might have been a Nets fan if they didn't move, if they weren't in Jersey.
Then the ABA collapsed in 1976, and the Nets were one of the 4 teams invited into the NBA, except the NBA forced them to pay $3.2 million and fork over another $4.8 million to the Knicks just for invading their territory.
Now that's funny. That's good. I respect that. They gave more to the Knicks than they gave to the...
Completely broke, they had to sell Dr. J to the Sixers.
Hey, that is insane graphic. Yo, I never knew why they lost Dr. J. I thought they did like an ABA redraft or something. They sold Dr. J. That's insane. That is insane, by the way. This is insane. Oh my God. Yo, they said, nah, we can't afford to pay you. We're selling Julius. Yo, that is insane. That's the Dennis Schroeder quote. That is the Dennis Schroeder quote. Oh my God, that is funny. No, that's funny, bro.
Just to survive. Unsurprisingly, they immediately became garbage and moved back to New Jersey in 1977. They spent the next 30 years being irrelevant. They had a brief resurgence in the early 2000s.
Like that's a crazy wording. Not, they traded him for $7 million. They sold him.
In 2012 under their new Russian billionaire owner. He went all in on aging stars, completely destroyed the team's future, and eventually...
The funniest thing was when Jay-Z like partially owned them and everyone thought Jay-Z owned all of the Nets. And then I wonder if I genuinely don't know if he had like a big impact in them moving though. I have no clue. But then Jay-Z left them in like 2013 because he started Rock Nation Sports and signed like Skylar Diggins and Kevin Durant. So he's been out.
He sold it to Joe Tsai in 2019. Today, they still don't have a championship, but at least they have a cool arena. Philadelphia 76ers. This team wasn't even born in Philadelphia. It started in Syracuse as the Syracuse Nationals in 1946. The team was founded by Dan Biasone, an Italian immigrant who literally invented the shot clock.
No, bro,
Before him, basketball games were just...
This man started a sports agency, not a label.
Teams holding the ball and stalling. He saved the sport from being unwatchable. They were one of the few independent teams that survived until the NBA was officially formed in 1949.
It was like another layup.
In 1963, they moved to Philadelphia after the city's original NBA team, the Philadelphia Warriors, moved to San Francisco. More on that later. A fan contest picked their new name, the 76ers, a nod to the 1776 Declaration of Independence. They won a title in 1967.
I said that earlier, like it was. Y'all know that 1776 Declaration of Independence?
But then Wilt ditched them for the Lakers in 1968. In the 70s, they bought Dr. J from the broke Nets, which made them an instant contender again.
They won 250 years? Wait. 200. 1776. So if you had 200 of that, that's 1976? Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Wait, is that next year? Damn. Y'all ever think about what happened from like year 1 to year like 500? Because like we know like tidbits, but I feel like there's in like a like general recount. I don't know.
Won another title in 1983 with Moses Malone. After that, they went through decades of suffering. Were saved by Allen Iverson.
How were they living during the Roman Empire? What was the vibes like? No electricity? Like you were just living every day just to sit at a candle or like a fire. I was watching this episode of in the living room. We had on a like one of them like home shows, and like the lady, it's always like just like a white mom, and they're like, "Ooh, I need a fireplace. I need it in." I was like, "Shut up, yo! I got a fireplace in my house. I've never put it on once, ever." So I think it's a really funny thing to like be. Anyways, why we try to go back? But anyways, the economy had to be good then? Yeah, because they didn't have free speech, probably. They didn't, actually. Wait, did they? I don't know. Well, I'm assuming... Now, hear me out. Was the Roman Empire in Rome? It was lit? Oh, okay, I don't know. Shoot, I don't know. The Roman Empire had to be in Rome, right? Revert bathrooms. But what were the actually, I low-key don't want to know. It was mostly Italy, right? Okay, cool. So it was in Rome, but they didn't know what America was yet, right? So they have like their own, I mean, but they were, is that, what's that called? Like authoritarian, when it's like one leader, like a king? I mean, an empire? I don't know. So they decided what it was, right? So they could decide if, because like with America, like we decided it was always going to be monarch. Yeah. All roads lead to Rome. We need to get Clique on the Silk Road. What does that mean? A republic, and then they had Caesar. Roman Empire was like a Europe. Go play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Wait, Odyssey's the Greek one, right? Odyssey's the Greek one. I played that game though. Rome was not built in one day. Trying to get some textile. Yo. Greek Empire was before. Oh, it was before. I was such an AI fan. I love how the message is in there in the middle of all the Rome talk. Isn't it odd? Like, do you ever think about like, even too, like how, like, for example, now like art is like so, like even like everyone's just waiting up until like 8 a.m. for a Playboy Cardi drop. But it's like, man, Playboy Cardi ain't nothing in the scheme of the history of the world. We used to have kings. Oh, I guess we still do. And queens. But you know what I mean? Like the real, like, oh yeah, like we going like this, like the North Korea type. Anyways. When we talk about the we'll talk about I studied Latin in high school and the college. Rome was wild back in the gap. It's funny because like I don't remember learning about any of that. Only things I remember learning about is Constitution or like pre-fight for America between us and British people. And then that was it. And like when you're super young, you learn about like Columbus, but then you learn about like the fights and the wars. I feel like it's such a bad strategy of learning. I feel like I might have learned more if we went quicker and like worked more sentence based and less like textbook based. I don't know. Because it's interesting to me now, but it would have been interesting to me. Like I talked about this once, but I got a 99 on my history final, and I literally all I did that entire year was sit there and put my hoodie on and listen to some rap songs by Earl Sweatshirt the entire year, and I got a 9. So I like history, even if I somehow absorbed that knowledge, but I didn't listen the entire year. But that teaching is terrible. Anyways, that point aside, yeah, I don't know why I started talking about the Roman Empire, but I'll be hearing that like, oh, like people be like, you know, using in like terminology now. I don't know what any of that means. And that one song hit for the whole year. No, it's an album. Anyways, no, I was lying. I mean, obviously I listened to multiple albums, but what else dropped that year? Meek Mill dropped that year. Probably still listening to like Damn, KOD probably. Yeah, whatever. All the J. Cole features dropped that year. I think if history was more like conversation based, like, yo, this is what happened in the 1870s, it'd be a lot easier to learn. Yeah, we need to, it's like, for example, we'd be going back and not listening, but like reading Shakespeare. And I think it's interesting to him specifically because it's like, that's just studying old. It's more so always like studying old English just for vibes, I guess. But historically, a lot of stuff, even in textbooks, is phrased like that. It's like old English, even from X amount of years ago. It's like, stop talking like this. What about we focus on our evolution? What about us? What about we champion us? We talk about how we talk, not all that old stuff and all that hinder and yonder and art thou. Yeah. We're closer to Cleopatra being alive than she was to the pyramids being made. So what? The pyramids was like OD BC, and then when was she alive? I didn't even, honestly, you could have told me Cleopatra was a myth and I would have believed. I'm lying. Okay. Play I'm a Boss by Meek Mill for like 10 seconds real quick. You can try to hear that 2K14, whatever, or 2K whatever. Okay, bro. Okay.
In the late 90s, then became a full-blown disaster.
I took Spanish, and I was so bad. I was so bad at Spanish class. I was so trash at that class. I dropped out of Spanish in some year, and that was the only final I ever came close to failing. I got like a 68. I think you needed a 63 to fail over here. But yeah, and that was like a C or D or whatever.
The process era in the 2010s. Today, they still haven't won since 1983, and Sixers fans are starting to lose their patience. Toronto Raptors. Canada's second
Does this
NBA
really even matter
team,
now? We've been talking about Roman, like,
only one that survived. Founded in 1995 as part of the NBA's expansion into Canada, alongside the Vancouver Grizzlies. Their name came from a fan contest, and since Jurassic Park had just dropped, Raptors won by a landslide. Their first.
Wait, Another fan. That was a good fan contest. Wait, why are they the Raptors? Oh, they just told me. But wait, does it have any sort of association with their team? Like their city, country, whatever?
First owner was Vancouver Grizzlies. Their name came from a fan contest.
That's it, though?
Since Jurassic Park had just dropped, Raptors won by
Were the Rockets already gone over? I actually don't think so. No, they're like third to last.
Their first owner...
I thought he was going to talk more about the teams that got like entirely like nuked from the league, like the 40s. Like there's a few teams, like I was talking about it earlier. Whatever, I named them already. Like
was John Bitovi, a Canadian businessman who had zero experience running a sports team. The Raptors' first ever draft pick, Damon Stoudemire, who immediately hated Toronto and left as soon as possible. The team finally became relevant when they drafted Vince Carter, who turned them into must-watch TV. But in 2004, Vince demanded a trade, torched the franchise on his way out, and left them in shambles. While Chris Bosh did his best after the Vince Carter era, the Raptors spent years in irrelevance. However, they finally built a winner when they traded for Kawhi Leonard in 2018 and actually won the title in 2019. Today, they're stuck in mid-tier limbo, but at least they have a championship banner. Los Angeles.
There's no way they didn't mention DeMar DeRozan. There's just no way. He didn't even say that they traded him. They said they traded for Kawhi Leonard. No DeMar DeRozan. Not an ounce. Like there's like good like facts in here from when they were like created, but yo, to not mention, like it would have taken no effort to mention DeMar DeRozan. You don't have to mention T-Mac. T-Mac was like a whatever. And like they didn't mention, obviously they didn't mention Lowry either, but like to not mention DeRozan, because they were talking about, oh, Chris Bosh, you know, he tried, Vince Carter hated them, and he could have been like, but there was one player who actually liked them and stood there, and it was DeRozan. Then they traded him. That's it. That's all you had to say. Nothing, because that's worse than not mentioning Jalen Brunson there. That's way worse. It's like that is the history of the team.
Lakers. One of the most successful franchises in sports, but they actually started in cold, snowy Minnesota. Founded in 1947 when businessmen Ben Berger and Morris Chalfin bought a failed basketball team called the Detroit Gems. They then relocated the team to Minneapolis. They named them the Lakers after Minnesota's 10,000 lakes. They won 5 championships in the early 50s behind George.
The Lakers started in Detroit? Is that what he just said? Or Michigan?
Mikan, the NBA's first superstar. In 1960, they moved to Los Angeles, mostly because the owner, Bob Short, was losing money and figured he could make more in Hollywood. In the 60s and 70s, the Lakers became the NBA's glamour franchise, with stars like Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Wilt Chamberlain. In 1979, they drafted Magic Johnson, forming the iconic Showtime Lakers, who won 5 championships in the Baylor and Wilt Chamberlain. In 1979, they drafted
For a second,
Magic
I
Johnson,
zoned out. I thought he didn't mention any of them.
Iconic Showtime Lakers, who won 5 championships in the 80s. After a rough 90s, they reloaded in 1996 by signing Shaq and trading for Kobe Bryant, leading to 3 straight titles in the early 2000s.
But Kareem wasn't mentioned? Kareem was always mentioned in the Bucks one? That's still insane though. While they got the show, while they got the cast up there, is that supposed to be James Worthy? Yo, this is insane. They look crazy.
80s. After a rough 90s, they reloaded in 1996 by signing Shaq and trading for Kobe Bryant, leading to 3 straight titles in the early 2000s. Kobe got them 2 more in the late 2000s. Then LeBron James arrived in 2018, leading them to another title in 2020. Today, the Lakers are still one of the biggest brands in sports, and it looks like Luka is only.
I'm about to say, how recent was this?
Phoenix Suns, a team that has been great many times, but never lucky enough to win it all. Founded in...
I'll be honest, bro. If I'm him, I'm not mentioning AD either. With all the other people he's missed so far, you can't mention AD. It's just the code at this point. You can't mention AD.
1968 as part of an NBA expansion wave alongside the Bucks. Their first owner, Carl Eller, was a media mogul who wanted to bring big-time sports to Arizona. The team name Suns wasn't the top fan vote. The leading option was actually Scorpions, but the team decided it sounded too scary. The Suns were mediocre at first, but in 1975, they made a surprise run to the NBA Finals where they lost to the Celtics. In the 90s, they became elite again, led by Charles Barkley, but they lost. 1975, they made a surprise run to the Suns were mediocre at first, but in 1975, they made a surprise run to the NBA Finals where they lost to the Celtics. In the 90s,
what the hell they have? I don't even know. I can't think.
They became elite again, led by Charles Barkley, but they lost in the 1993 NBA Finals to Michael Jordan's Bulls. In the 2000s, head coach Mike D'Antoni revolutionized basketball with the 7 seconds or less offense, led by Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire,
Tom Chambers was not there in 75.
And Sean Marion. Despite being one of the most exciting teams ever, they never won a championship. After a long rebuild, they finally returned to the finals in 2020.
Oh, it was Alvin Adams. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
21, led by Devin Booker and Chris Paul, but they lost to the Bucks. They're still ringless, but always a fun team to watch. Sacramento Kings. This team has had more homes than a traveling circus. Founded in 1945 as the Rochester Royals.
Who out here? They got some hoopers out here. I play with this kid on the AAU team. I recognize him.
Royals, a team in the NBL before joining the NBA in 1949. In 1950,
Rochester. I don't know why.
They won their only championship. In 1957, they moved to Cincinnati, where they were the Cincinnati Royals. They soon acquired Oscar Robertson.
They won their only Damn. Sometimes I think that they won with Oscar, but they obviously didn't because he won in Milwaukee. He only has one. Actually, did they?
One of the best
they said no.
Players of all time. In 1972, they moved again to Kansas City, but had to change their name because Kansas City already had a baseball team called the Royals. So they became the Kansas City Omaha Kings. Yes, Omaha, because they also played some home games in Omaha, Nebraska. By 1975,
that's one of them New Orleans. That's like Hurricane Katrina Pelicans or whatever, the Hornets. When they had the NOK for that 1 year.
They dropped the Omaha from their name. Finally, in 1985, they moved to Sacramento. In the early 2000s, they were actually incredible, led by Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, and Mike Bibby. But they got screwed by one of the worst officiated series in NBA history. After that, they spiraled into 16 years of pure misery, setting the record for the longest playoff drought in the league's history. They finally made the playoffs again in
no white chocolate. All right, now we're dragging it. All right, dog. You're going to live without white chocolate. No, Boogie. Dog, Boogie didn't make the playoffs. They didn't mention DeMar DeRozan. Nobody. All right, fine. No Frank Jackson. No Yogi Ferrell. No Marcus Thornton. Oh, what will we do? Shut up. No Carl Landry.
In 2023, proving that even the most cursed teams can turn it around. Miami Heat. This is a team that went from irrelevant expansion team to NBA powerhouse faster than pretty much anyone. They were founded in 1988 as part of a league-wide expansion into new markets. Miami had basically no basketball history, but the NBA was betting on South Beach being a good destination. Their original owner was Ted Arison, who also owned Carnival Cruise Lines. For the first few years, they were completely irrelevant. Then in 1995, they hired Pat Riley as team president, and the entire franchise changed overnight. In 2003, they drafted Dwayne Wade, and in 2006, he led them to their first championship alongside Shaquille O'Neal. Then in 2010, Pat Riley pulled off one of the biggest free agency moves in NBA history by getting LeBron and Chris Bosh to team up with Wade.
One of my friends told me there was a rumor that in 2011, after they lost to the Mavericks, they damn near traded LeBron for Dwight Howard. And I think the Magic declined it. unless I'm wrong. Yeah, it was Gilbert. Or like maybe they didn't decline it. It didn't happen. They whatever. Somehow it didn't happen. But they was about to be done with LeBron after that after that Mavericks finals and trade him to the Magic. Oh, who subscribed to that? Shout out to Dr. Waffle Cone an hour ago. Was Gil on the Magic? Yeah, he got traded in 2010-11 because I just did that. He got traded for Rashard Lewis. Well, the money would have lined up probably with Dwight and LeBron anyways. I was going to say Gil could have included for contract purposes, but probably not to the Heat probably wouldn't want him.
They ended up winning back-to-back titles in 2012 and 2013, making Miami one of the most successful teams of the 21st century. Today, the Heat are still one of the best-run franchises in the NBA and a destination team for superstars. Orlando Magic. This team and a destination.
Why do you not mention? Why? Is that Denny Avdia?
Team for
turn this off. Nah, this is an okay video, bro. Chill out. I like the stick figures. Yo, why is Denny Avdia here? I guess they're resorting to hypotheticals, but why? But then why is Jimmy got traded?
Superstars. Orlando Magic. This team has had more superstar breakups than a reality TV show. They were also founded in 1988 as part of the NBA expansion wave. Their first owner, William DuPont III, came from a wealthy banking family that had zero experience in sports, but really wanted an NBA team. In 1992, they got insanely lucky and won the first pick in the NBA draft, taking Shaquille O'Neal. Within 3 years, the Magic went from expansion team to NBA Finals contender, pairing Shaq with Penny Hardaway. In 1995, they made their first Finals appearance, but got swept by the Rockets. Then in 1996, Shaq left for the Lakers and Orlando collapsed instantly. They rebuilt and got Dwight Howard in 2004, which led to another Finals appearance in 2009, but then Dwight...
Which, by the way, they didn't mention the Heat recent Finals appearance, or either one of them. That's actually insane, though, that like Hakeem beat them with Kenny Smith and Otis Thorpe. Was Clyde on the team by then? I think Clyde might have been on the team in '95, but nonetheless, that's actually crazy. Nah, I guess if Clyde's on the team, it's not that crazy. But Steve Francis was not on the Rockets in '95. Oh, I know. I've looked at Hakeem stats. I know.
Dwight left too. Since then, they've been in rebuild mode and things seem to finally be shaping up well. Washington Wizards, a team with one of the strangest histories and name changes in NBA history. Founded in 1961 as the Chicago Packers, but it turned out the people in Chicago weren't huge fans of the team name Packers. So they renamed to the Chicago Zephyrs after one season.
Did the Green Bay Packers already exist at that time? Because that would make sense.
In 1963, they moved to Baltimore.
I know a lot of them NFL teams were old, or like are super old. I'm just making sure.
Rebranded as the Baltimore Bullets. Then, in 1973, they moved to Washington, D.C. and became the Capitol Bullets. But then they changed their name again in 1974 to the Washington Bullets. In 1978, they won their only NBA championship behind Wes Unseld and Elvin Hayes. Then, in 1997, owner Abe Paulin changed the team's name from Bullets to Wizards because he was concerned about the violent connotation with bullets. In the 2000s, they briefly became fun again when Gilbert Arenas showed up, but his career...
Why is he at 55 on? Why'd you just give him, what's his name, Isaiah Hartenstein's number?
Imploded due to injuries and locker room incidents. John Wall and Bradley Beal also gave them some hope, but injuries ruined that as well. They've been in basketball limbo ever since, mostly just existing without making much noise. Dallas Mavericks.
Why was he wearing 55 too? No mention the first pick? Or what? No, I guess they didn't have the first pick now. I don't know. What is it?
Team that started as a gift
it is
for
funny
a
though
rich
how
guy.
John Wall gets mentioned but not DeMar. Whatever.
His wife.
It's like there's a certain time. It's like I'm watching a TV show and there's like a time precedent for everyone.
Became a global powerhouse thanks to one legendary owner and a German superstar. Founded in 1980, the name Mavericks was chosen in a fan vote because of the popularity of the TV show Maverick. The team's first owner, Don Carter, wanted to buy the team as a gift for his wife. He also wore a cowboy hat.
That's real.
At all times. The Mavericks.
Hey, did y'all see how bad Iman got did? It was bad, bro. I felt bad. Well, like I found out that it was kind of his fault, but that's still crazy. But Iman Shumpert lost like bag because they finalized his divorce got found. He lost bag. So like he had a prenup, but it had a cheating clause in it, and he cheated publicly, I think. But then she was trying to amicably divorce, and he said, "Nah, I want your money." That's at least what I saw. I don't know what I believe in. Anyways, what I do believe is that they said he got to pay her one-time 7-figure payment. He gave her 4 homes, about 4 cars, and he's paying $8,000 a month in child support. Oh my God! And it said she makes like $100,000 more than him a month. That's like actually. That's crazy.
Mavericks were actually good early on, building a strong team in the 80s.
They messed up my guy,
but
man.
Then they
My
fell into
Indiana
complete
Pacers put back
irrelevance for most
legend.
of the 90s. Then, in 1998, they acquired Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash. A few years later, Mark Cuban bought the team, immediately transforming the Mavs into a modern and flashy franchise. After years of playoff failures, Dirk and the Mavs finally won their first NBA championship in 2011, pulling off one of the greatest underdog runs ever by beating the Miami Heat. It looked like they were going to be set for another 20 years when they drafted Luka, but after Mark Cuban sold his controlling stake in the team, they traded Luka to the Lakers. Time will tell what happens to the franchise now. Houston Rockets, a team that's...
You said look up Adesanya lawsuit. Is that like a boxer or something, I think? Anyways, I did see the Brandon Jennings thing. Only problem with Brandon Jennings is like, I respect like bucket getters, but he shot like 37% for his career. And he's obviously not, everyone knows he's not better than Drew Holiday, but nonetheless, I don't know if we could, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, MMA. Yeah, is this guy AI? I actually don't really know. It's possible. You never know.
Started out as a failure before moving halfway across the country. Founded in 1967 as the
It's funny because it
San
sounds like a
Diego
bad
Rockets,
insult, but I don't
named
know.
after the city's growing aerospace industry. Their first owner, Robert Breitbard, quickly ran out of money. After just 4 seasons, the Rockets were sold and moved to Houston in 1971. Their first real superstar was
Ron Brandon Knight was nice.
Moses Malone, who carried them to their first finals appearance in 1981. But then he got traded for nothing because they couldn't afford him. In 1984, they drafted Hakeem Olajuwon, who became one of the best centers ever. In 1994 and 1995, Hakeem led the Rockets to...
Wait, he has all of his money in his mom's name, so that's how he got her to pay him? That's fire. Damn, that's fire. Wow. Kind of hard.
To back-to-back championships, taking advantage of the NBA's brief Jordan...
That's what I was thinking. He did put me on. Hey. He put me on, bro. He did put me on. Hey, that's funny. No, because me and my mom were like this. My mom, bro. Oh my God. My mom would for sure do that. Hey, my mom for sure. I would give my mom money, honestly. She could have it. I'll make some more, bro.
Era. Since then, the Rockets have gone through multiple eras, including the Yao Ming and T-Mac years and the James Harden ISO ball years, but they haven't won a title since. Today, they've rebuilt themselves again and have one of the most promising young cores in the NBA, Memphis Grizzlies, a team that should have never existed in Vancouver and found success only after moving to Memphis.
Wait, who didn't mention CB3? Sorry, I'm fake zoned out because it's been for the Rockets. Oh, who cares? Wait.
But they haven't won a title since. Today, they've rebuilt themselves again and have one of the most promising young cores in the NBA, Memphis Grizzlies. A team that should have never existed in Vancouver.
No Luis Scola, no Carmelo, no Pat Bev, no Terrence Jones. I'm gonna smoke y'all. I'm gonna put y'all down.
And found success only after moving to Memphis. Founded in 1995 as part of the NBA's attempt to expand into Canada, their first owner was Arthur Griffiths. The Vancouver experiment was a disaster from the start. Bad attendance, terrible teams, and no basketball culture yet. In 2001, after just 6 seasons, the Grizzlies relocated to Memphis, where they immediately became a much better fit. For most of the 2000s, they were pretty mid, even though they had Pau Gasol. They ended up trading Pau to the Lakers for a package that included Pau's younger brother.
I did not know. I've always seen this dude on my team, but that man Bryant Reeves really only played 6 years and then had to medically retire. The big country dude from Vancouver. He only played for the Grizzlies for 5 years, only Vancouver. He's got to be the only player, at least like that, have like an extensive like 2-3+ year career that only played for Vancouver. Gotta be. Like he only played for Vancouver. Then he retired as they were about to leave, and got medically retired, injured, whatever. Because his back was cooked. That man Bryant Reeves, like all due respect, he does not look like he should have been playing basketball though. He looked like he was 300 pounds, or maybe he just don't look like he should have been playing basketball. I guess it makes sense, but yeah, damn, that just made me think about that. I was thinking about like early. My brain just went in a direction that made me think about Sean Bradley. I always feel bad that man is paralyzed. I think I've said that like a million times. That's so sad. Man is 7'7" and paralyzed.
Mark. By 2010,
he always built
the
Shaq,
legendary grit and grind Grizzlies with Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, and Mike Conley Jr. They were one of the most respected.
How is Shaq still walking? What are you talking about? Wait, really?
Teams of the early 2010s. Today, they've moved into a new era with Ja Morant, proving that Memphis was the right home for them all along.
Thanks,
New Orleans Pelicans, a team that has been saved by the NBA multiple times and somehow keeps rebuilding. Founded in 2002, when
they really have been saved a lot. Even the Chris Paul, well, what were they about to get back from the Chris Paul trade? It was like, I don't think they were getting Pau. Was Pau going to like the Rockets in that trade or something? Or was he? Or they really about to just get Pau? I feel like they're about to get a third team and get like some whatever. Matter of fact, I might just look it up. Unless y'all know. Oh, Brian Reeves just cooked Shaq and Gemini was in. Oh, yeah. I think Pau was supposed to go to the Rockets, and then yeah, that's crazy. We're gonna get saved by the NBA again and draft Cooper Flag. Where y'all at right now? Hold on. Let me go look. Hackathon. It's been an hour and 21 minutes of watching this video. Screw it. It ain't been that bad. Y'all been hating. New Orleans seed 4. Honestly, bro, I rock with the Pelicans. So mock draft updated recently. They still got Cooper in there. Let me see. Damn it, let me see. Whatever, bro. Okay. Washington, Utah, Charlotte, New Orleans, Brooklyn. I'm rooting for Brooklyn, man. I'll root for Brooklyn. Do y'all think, I have a friend who's like one of like the NBA nerd, like whatever type of dudes. Do y'all think that Cam Thomas gets paid this offseason, like a good paycheck? Now, I will say, I feel like if they drafted Cooper Flag, the chance of that would be maybe lesser. Because his argument is like, Cam Thomas, like, they can't commit to his bread or whatever, and that someone else should, and like maybe a sign and trade, make 30 mil from. Yeah, but that's my thing. Was Brooklyn? Would Brooklyn do it? Not necessarily somebody else, but I think he's gonna have to get it somewhere. It's Cam Thomas. He's a good player, but MLE is crazy. MLE is now like I've admitted, like I used to say like, oh, like I feel like Cam Thomas is like bound. Like I didn't. When everyone was crying that Cam Thomas had to play more, I was like, I get it, but I feel like people always do this with a player like the Alonzo Triers of the world, where like they are like crying, but it's like at best this dude is like a 70% of Lou Will. But Cam Thomas outplayed that, just outplayed every expectation of that. So now what? You know what I mean? It's like, are you still going to deem that he reverts back, or is he this forever, or is his play style a win? I think if he was like a complimentary piece on the team, he has one hell of a winning play style. If he just like fits in, you know, because he can hit some shots that some players don't even think of taking. So I think that would be very good for a team. Like he hits the not to be all over my guy, but you know, actually, I'll actually shout out two people. He hits like the Brunson type of shots and like this dude, like the D-Book type of shots, like them fallaways, like them crazy mid-range shots that like you can't guard against that like are valuable come playoff time. And he's good at them. So like I feel like his archetype is very valuable, and someone's gonna want to give him a little bit of some. I don't know who has the money, but like for example, like I don't know if like the Rockets or the Thunder, whoever has money soon come, they're not giving the money to Cam Thomas though. So it's like who's gonna be the one? It's gonna be like the Blazers or the Kings. I don't know. But yeah. Oh, wrong thing.
Charlotte Hornets relocated to New Orleans because their owner, George Shinn, ran out of town. When they moved, they kept their name.
It could be the Pelicans, low key.
The New Orleans Hornets. In 2011, their owner bailed, and the NBA literally bought the team to prevent it from relocating again. They won the draft lottery and got Anthony Davis, finally giving them a franchise player. In 2013, when the Bobcats in Charlotte decided to rebrand as the Hornets again, New Orleans changed their name to the Pelicans to reflect Louisiana's state bird. They never built a contender around Anthony Davis, so he went to the Lakers in 2019 and they had to start over. Today, they're just hoping Zion Williamson stays healthy long enough to make them relevant. San Antonio.
I don't feel like that's gonna last long. Like not him and New Orleans they're gonna get pennies for him eventually. But hopefully he just I just remembered something. Oh, it just pisses me off. I think something's a little bit wrong with me. But I was watching Pelicans Zion highlights, and they just keep on repeating the Pelicans commentators. Oh, Z to the rim, Z, Z, Z. I'm like, damn, just call him Zion. It pisses me off. I hate when people use like nicknames excessively, and it's like, man, just call him his full government name. What's Scoot Henderson real name? I don't know. Call him Demetrius. I feel like I heard someone call him. I think I heard the Hornets announcer called Ja Demetrius. Maybe that dude's got that's a great guy right there. They be calling him Z, and like I don't hear no one calling him Z. But they exclusively called him Z. Nothing else. Like, all right, fine. I'm gonna go find it. Hopefully this don't get copyrighted if I bring this up. But I'm gonna just give you a few examples. Matter of fact, maybe I just play the audio. Let me see. Zion. It was that dude, bro. It was that Evan dude, I think. Or not. What was his name? I don't know. Evan. Is that dude that be posting all the highlights on Twitter? Brett. This is Brett Usher. Shout out to him. I think it was him. It's like, man, Zion cooking. Click on it. They call him ZZ. Jonathan. No, it's Jonathan Kuminga. Tyreek. He got Tyreek. Shout out to him, bro. He be posting heat on Twitter. Probably one of the only reasons I keep on opening up this damn app. I'll just shout out his oh, where is this though? He retweets mad tweets and I can't find it. Rookie Luka Doncic, Paul George. He posted a Zach Randolph. Oh, here it is. It's right here.
You got his hand on top of the basketball. You got it. And Z on the finish. Trey. They had a great start, don't forget, against Memphis. Led by as many as 14. How about a three?
Now you got to get out of his way. Right.
Good pass. And on the reverse, Carlo. Got it. Z.
Oh, he got you.
Z.
Yep. On his way. Finish.
He got you.
By the way, he's cooking them.
Gonna allow me to.
But I'm watching. I'm like, damn. Like, why do they keep? Are we trying to be a good person? I'm like, I'm not gonna think about this. And they keep saying Z. It just pisses me off.
Opportunity to get away with a little more physically because I'm physically outmatched.
On the pick, Z.
Z. It's Zion. Just call him. Okay, because like, I watched Mike Breen my entire life. Mike Breen does every single Knicks game damn near. I've never heard him call anybody a nickname this exclusively. Except for like Deuce McBride, because that's like his name at this point. That's a whole name. I think that's why I call Carmelo so much, not just Melo, even before the LaMelo Ball stuff. Whatever, bro.
Spurs.
Shout out to them. They're probably great commentators. It just pissed me off.
A team that started in the ABA, survived through chaos, and built the best dynasty in modern NBA history. Founded in 1967 as the Dallas...
You rather zero one? What's the Twitter nicknames? Like what? I don't even want to know, bro. Just let... You know what? You're right. Never mind. I remember that one post-game interview when he was scared because they were going to make fun of him for his Thanksgiving meal. Let him rock.
Chaparrals in the ABA. After a few seasons of nobody caring about the team, the owners basically gave the team...
I'm a Pelicans fan. They horrible commentators. He said it, not me. I actually wouldn't say that. I don't.
Away to a group of San Antonio...
Recently, I had said that I didn't like the Suns commentators, but then people said they were good. But I didn't like them in the brief period that I heard them. But
who rebranded them as the Spurs.
I'm spoiled with Mike Breen and Clive Razor. Shout out to Jamal Crawford. He was good too. They had him on the Knicks broadcast this season for 10 games.
The NBA, but they were broke and not taken seriously. George Gervin was their first superstar and led the team for nearly a decade. Then in 1987, they drafted David Robinson. Robinson made the team a contender nearly every season, but their playoff struggles continued. Then he got injured for nearly a whole year, causing the Spurs to stink. This led them to winning the 1997 draft lottery, where they selected Tim Duncan. With Duncan, Tony Parker...
Why does he always put like that default looking dude on everything?
Draft lottery. That's Victor. Where they selected Tim Duncan.
He got blonde locks.
With Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and coach Greg Popovich, the Spurs won 5 NBA championships. After Duncan retired, it looked like Kawhi Leonard could lead the team for years to come, but he forced his way out, and the Spurs had to start over. Now, they've got Victor Wembanyama, and it looks like they're on their way to building another dynasty.
Hey, shout dude, we watched this video for an hour, so an hour and a half. I can't. Y'all was hating on the video. I think it's a good video, even though he didn't mention DeMar DeRozan. This is ISO Jack. I'm gonna like your video. New channel, I guess. Yeah, well, I low-key, I'm gonna reaction move. We're gonna react to something else. We gonna figure out something. But yeah, that took a while. Damn, I just got here. What W segment? Bye, YouTube. Bye. I'm finally a reaction video to post. I had nothing. Maybe is it time? Maybe I gotta go watch Jimmy High Roller or something. Adding more context to this video than ISO Jack. Damn, maybe that's a good point. Maybe the reaction video was so necessary. And the break I took to go run and grab the food that I already finished. Okay, let me end this recording.